Welcome to Lesson 5, Security Breaches in the Law. So we're going to be discuss the U.S. federal and state laws passed to deter information theft, understand the cost associated with the theft, explain how access control can fail, and discuss security breaches. We're also going to look at some of the laws that we're going to be looking at. So, our learning objectives: access, the consequences of failed access control and mitigation through unauthorized access. Key concepts: U.S. federal and state laws passed, cost associated, access control failure now. Espionage between organizations used to be a physical act, such as stealing paper documents and making physical copies. Identity theft was the only factor if someone lost their wallet or it was stolen. Although information technology such as networking and servers and PDAs and the web-based internet applications have made data easier to manage and has made it more information more vulnerable. Every time we go on the internet, it's possible stuff could be stolen. Identity theft is a big crime right now. So what are some laws? U.S. federal laws and state laws are basically to help organizations are required to take these steps to make sure data is sensitive. Sensitive data is protected. An organization might have a legal obligation to inform all stakeholders if a breach occurred. Technology breakthroughs and informations have allowed organizations to be more productive and automate many interactions with consumers and stakeholders through the internet. This has been unfortunate drawbacks. Individuals can now utilize the internet to gain unauthorized access to organizations, putting sensitive data at risk. An IT professional must be aware of these and come up with laws and regulations to prevent this from happening. So, computer fraud and abuse, the CFAA, designed to protect electronic data. This is the Federal Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, the federal criminal status designed to protect electronic data from theft. The CFAA was enacted in 1984 and was designated to protect classified information maintained on the government's computer systems, as well as financial and credit information maintained as financial institutions. In 1994, and again in 1996, Congress expanded the CFA to include computers used for interstate commerce. The law also amended to allow for private civil actions. Also, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, prohibits unauthorized disclosure data by circumvented but an established thing. The DMCA was signed into law in 1998. The purpose of the DMCA was to implement World Intellectual Property Organization Copyright Treaty and Performance Treaty, as well as Title 17 of the United States Copyright Code. The federal status updates copyright laws more effectively. At the heart of the DMCA prohibits unauthorized disclosure of data circumventing and established technology measures of the organization. Technology measures include like products, key software, CDs, DVDs, copyright passwords, and it prohibits manufacturing, sales of programs or devices that break the code. The idea behind the DMCA is that unless it is illegal to break implanted technology, malicious users can manipulate access solutions and violate copyright laws without consequences. DMCA provides for legal liabilities and attempt to ward off malicious users. So state laws: California, identity theft statutes require business to notify customers when they've been breached. Research specific laws that apply in your state. Every state has different laws on the books. You can begin visiting the state's attorney's office. Most states have laws that apply to unauthorized access to confidentiality information because they have many parts in common. This section covers one law in depth, the California statute. It's one of the most comprehensive. We'll give you basic understanding of some of the state laws. The California Identity Theft Status requires businesses operating in California to notify customers when the business has reason to believe that personal information has been disclosed through unauthorized use. Here are some of the basic things. Any person who was with the intent to acquire laws, transfer, and intent, punishable up to $1,000 or 1 year in jail. Businesses are required to take reasonable steps to destroy all records containing personal information by shredding, erasing, and modifying. Business and governmental agencies must notify when any of the unencrypted personal data. And in addition, certain laws they're not allowed to do this with dealing with universities and colleges. They can't display your social security number. They can't have a social security number on your ID cards. They can't use your social security number as a ID. They can't put it on anything. They want you to protect that. I remember when I started college, that was our basic ID. Was your social security number. One of the first layers of access control, all physical securities must comply with all regulations. Access to secure computing facilities is granted. All secure computing facilities are allowed. Visitors must be logged in, and visitors must be escorted all the time. This is at your front door, first layer. Computer systems and data are essential to our modern lives. The safeguards securing these assets are both logical and physical. Many times, the need for these physical securities in the computing environment is overlooked. Unauthorized access to sensitive data and physical assets can create a significant risk for organizations. All physical security must comply with this. Access to secure and visitors thing. Access control failures. People. Every organization has sensitive areas and information that should be protected. If this information is left unsecured, it's hard to claim the access is unauthorized. Most responsible organizations implement some kind of access control. Unfortunately, even the most thorough and vigilant systems can fail. There are too many primary causes of access control failures. People, even with the most strict and thorough access control policies, are prone to human error. This was vividly demonstrated in 2010 when a Virginia couple slipped past security guards into a state dinner White House. The couple was subjected to all the normal security screenings and procedures and was never a threat. But they were not on the guest list. They got due to human error. The guard at the gate did not follow proper procedures and verified the couple was on the list. Although the couple was not on the list and the situation was humorous, this type of failure can cause grave risk. The other thing we have is phishing attacks. Phishing and spear phishing. This is emails that are directed towards you to get you to send out information. Poor physical security systems. A hard drive, flash drive, even an entire laptop can vanish if left unintended. Physically stored passwords. A password stored on a slip of paper can easily be stolen. File sharing. These are some of the things that people have to do. Technology. Technology, sometimes the best access control systems can be bypassed due to failure in technology. No computer system is bug-free. Anything from organization operation systems to choose a web browser or instant messaging client can access. Look at some of the tech. Microsoft Windows operation systems, Windows Vistas, running weak password encryption. Passwords in Windows NT and XP, less than 15 characters long, as well as that. LAN management. Radio frequency tags, badges, allow you to keep people in and out of where they need to be. The privacy impact assessment. PIA is a comprehensive process for determining the privacy, confidentiality, and risk associated with the collection, use, and disclosure of personal information It is also described in measures used in mitigation and, if possible, eliminate identity risk. The PIA process makes sure measures intended to protect privacy consider the beginning of a new program. It identifies key factors involved in securing PII. P2, emphasis on the process used for P2, having significant degree of independence from the project, having a degree of public exposure. An important aspect of PIA is looking at the access controls that will be utilized to secure the data. The assessment needs not to only be with the physical needs and the logical needs. Structure of the PIA. Summary of the systems under analysis. This section should include a physical or logical description of the particular systems being analyzed, such as RFID badges and the intended purpose. This section also should include owner or stakeholders of what's going on. List of information to be collected, including specific examples of information that will be collected. Description of how the information will be collected, include specific plans for collecting personal information, section of copyright, explanation of whose personally identifiable information is necessary. Use this section to justify the collection of use of personal identifiable information. Explanation of how information will be used. Include the specific description of how each piece of information. List any new information that will be created. For example, biometric data such as fingerprints or photographies can be stored in a database, and named phone numbers and information is available. Security breaches. There are a couple different security breaches that can happen. Information security breaches take many forms. They include lost or misplaced data, media, stolen laptops and cell phones, hacked systems, data lost and stolen in transit, information taken by a rogue employee, and more damage done by security breach can be measured in both tangible and intangible objects. System exploits. These include Trojan horse programs, computer viruses, and other malicious code. These are system applications that end up on your system that could look for some information in there. Eavesdropping. This is the act of passively gathering information. Eavesdropping can take the form of sniffing the network with specialized software and gathering information. Social engineering. Social engineering is the exploration of human nature and human error. Example of this, someone calls you up saying, I'm from the IT department, I need to reset your login password, please provide it for me. You give it to them, it has no one to do with that, so you got to be careful. Denial of services, DOS. These are purely damaging attacks meant to render the system useless. This is when programs are written, computers overtake hundreds of computers with a virus, and they all contact the same website, whether it's Amazon or Facebook, so when it comes in overload, no one can get onto their system. Indirect attack systems used to launch an attack, distribute denial services. Attacks are an example rather than directly attacking. Direct access attacks. These range from technology aspects, unauthorized accesses, usually a device such as keyloggers or outright theft of equipment. So these are just some of the ways that security breaches can happen. Some basic consequences. Security breaches have been serious. Lacks physical security, inadequate logical access, a combination of both. So it's up to the IT department to ensure that the systems are some implications of security breaches. Computer security is a critical issue for any organization. If breach is a system of security, it changes or damages organizations' computer systems, can result in financial costs, lost customer trust, and legal penalties. There is no possibility of ongoing system security issues. Did the intruder build themselves or that? What disclosure must happen after the breach. So what is the financial impact on it? Legal actions. Who's going to sue them? cost of contacting all your individuals, loss of reputation. These are some of the implications that happen. Credit card processing company called Acme Credit Card processed, received, noticed that they had stolen. Financial impact, as discussed. The cost of the security breach to an organization can come in both direct and indirect forms. The direct cost of the financial identified. It comes in the form of equipment. Monster.com in 2007 discovered intruders obtained personal information on 1.3 users. The breach affected both Munster, U.S. jobs, and governmental job sites. Officials estimated that the cost is around $80 million to clean up that. The U.S. Before we get there. And we all heard about TJ Maxx, also in 2007. TJ Maxx disclosed a massive breach. The customers affected by security breach was offered free crediting to monitor the organization. TJ Maxx had to settle with the suit for MasterCard, an additional $24 million. In this instance, they put a skimmer on their machines. There was a slight bug that they were able to intercept from the time they put it in. And how many customers did they lose, TJ Maxx, due to the loss of confidence? People stopped going there. So what did we cover? U.S. federal and state laws passed to deter that. We talked about the laws in depth on the last chapter. Cost associated with an audit. Even if it seems like a simple breach, what is the customers going to perceive you of how secure are you? What are you going to do? How many customers are you going to lose? How much are you going to have to pay for these customers? And how can it fail? We talked about it. There's different denial of attack, Trojan horses. I worked at one company where someone in finance had a keylogger installed on their machine. They went to a website, downloaded something, and there was a keylogger. We were able to discover it before it caused any damage, but he didn't log in. Security breaches and their implications. This is something you can't judge on somebody who's going to say, hey, this is a terrible thing. I'm not going to shop here. What is the cost of losing customers' faith? And this is what we have to keep in mind when we're looking at this. So, thank you.